This is Hard Parking, brought to you by Wright Honda and Wright Toyota out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Coming up on today's show, we are joined by Jhae Valencia, as we do every year. He is one of the organizers of exotics on Broadway. Monterey Car Week is this week. I will not be attending for the second year in a row. So we're going to learn about all the cool hypercars that will be at this event. It is a public event. You're going to learn all about it after this Word Before Online. After that, stick around because I'm going to go over the top 10 vehicles that you could buy for under $15,000 according to cars.com. This is a 2024 list. So we're going to go from very affluent and wealthy cars to everyday cars for everyday people. For over a decade, 4Wheel Online has been bringing the best truck accessories and truck parts to enhance the appearance and performance of all trucks and SUVs. They are dedicated to providing an extensive range of upgrades that will match any make or model on the road. The truck products cover everything to give your truck a custom look and added functionality. Need a wheel and tire package? Head over and use the configuration tool. They carry all the major brands of wheels and tires, so go get outfitted today. Visit them online at 4Wheel Online. As we do every year, Jhae Valencia joining us, getting ready for Monterey Car Week. As we talk to him every year, exotics on Broadway. It's one of the main organizers. So what do we have planned this year, man? Well, first off, it's good to talk to you. I think every year we say, man, we should do this more than once a year. And then, I'm going to say it's on me that we don't.
It's always a pleasure. It's even better when we get to run into each other at any event anywhere in the world. But yeah, man, everything's great. Definitely looking forward to next week. And yeah, I'll push on you a little bit harder after this so we can do more.
I really wanted to go. I got my accountant said I can't go this year. But so I guess we're going to have to wait unless I just randomly run into you at some point between now and then. But what do you guys have planned this year? It's always the biggest for those people who are just, I don't know, waking up or hatching from the rock that they were hidden behind. Your show is the biggest public show of displaying the most exotic cars and things that most people most things are behind a paywall for. So tell us a little bit about that like you do every year. And then what do we have going on this year?
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, that would have to be an extremely large and heavy rock if this is the first time. But, it's always room to learn and to experience. So this year, Exotics on Broadway is once again, during Monterey Car Week in Seaside, California. The date is Saturday, August 17th. So that is next Saturday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's on Broadway Avenue in Seaside, California. And we also use like 6 or 7 blocks of Fremont Avenue, which is a cross street, completely shut down. As you mentioned, open to the public, free for spectators, which is huge for Car Week.
Massive.
There's very little opportunity for the general public to go and experience, pretty much what is a takeover of the peninsula for a week and a half of, just amazing vehicles and amazing people and, builders and manufacturers and all the big shops and the big names as well. So, going to be big again this year. We have a title sponsor, which is ModFind. ModFind is the online automotive marketplace and app for you to, sell and buy parts. So we're happy to have them back. They were a title sponsor a couple years ago as well. So they're back to be a title. And this year also we have a featured mark. Last year it was Bugatti. This year it's, and then this year it's Koenigsegg. It works out really well because it's their 30th anniversary. So they'll be celebrating throughout Car Week at different events. However, for our event, something that people would like to hear, if you would like to check it out, we're probably going to have somewhere between 24 and 29 Koenigsegg's there.
Wow. And there's people who have never seen one. There's millions of people who have never seen one. Even if you're in a very big car state. Probably not so much California because that's where they get all the cool cars. But I'd say unless you're outside of California, Texas, maybe Chicago, and Florida. So some of them I name states, some of them I name cities. Maybe somewhere in New York City, you're typically not going to see stuff like this. And if you see it, it's super rare.
Yep. I'll give a shout out to Connecticut and Columbus, Ohio area, who has a very heavy exotic car, hypercar population as well. But yeah, you're right. I mean, this is going to be very unique. We'll have to dig into the, unofficial record books to see if this might be the largest gathering, whether it's in the world or the US. But if anybody out there has a Koenigsegg, and because it would be great to have 30 for the 30th anniversary. Right now we're like 24 to 29. But Christian Koenigsegg himself will be there. They'll be, they'll have a booth selling, merchandise, signing autographs. He'll be up on the stage, talking a little bit about the brand and what everything means with the 30th year. So that's going to be a big piece for us, and we're excited to be able to showcase that for everyone there. We also have Pagani again. Pagani's going to be there. Horatio Pagani will also be there as well, doing similar things that Christian will be doing. They probably have 12 to 15 Paganis, which again,
same deal.
Same deal. How often do you see one? How often do you see 12 to 15? Other hypercar manufacturers, we've got Sizinger there, Rimac. Oil Stain Lab is bringing their car fresh from the Goodwill Festival Speed Hill Climb not long ago.
Wow. Yep.
They'll be sharing that with us. SSC North America, the Daily Driven Exotics and Gumball 3000 will have, some folks there and some cars, which is always a fan favorite.
Right.
And in total, I believe officially registered, we're at 60 hypercars.
Wow.
Which again in itself, and I'm talking to things, Bugatti Super Sports, Bugatti Pure Sports, really cool. There's going to be 2 McLaren P1 HDKs.
Wow.
For those that don't know, the HDK is the custom P1s that's built by Lanzante in the UK with the Cosworth engine and all that. Your 918s, your Sennas, your Senna GTRs. Lotus is bringing the new Evija, the new hypercar. That'll be there. So the list goes on and on. It's going to be a great time. We're expecting, once again, anywhere between 40 to 50,000 people. And then on top of that, have a lot of supercars and exotic cars registered. And, we can't leave out the favorite brands and companies that help make our cars what they are. If you personalize and customize your cars, even if it's just, if it's a set of wheels, better tires, or, more aero and body kits, we've got Gintani there. Who else? McGuire's, Bowden Auto House is going to be there. Vorsteiner, Liqui Moly. You can check all the official vendors on our website as well.
And is that EOB.com or is it spelled out Exotics Broadway?
It's spelled out exoticsonbroadway.com. And you can also see the daily updates on our Instagram channel, which is also at Exotics on Broadway. To check everything out, we're probably at the point where we're going to be posting about 2 to 3 times a day up to showtime.
Let me ask you something. We're going back a little bit because that sounds like a fantastic event. And I had a few questions that popped out. So this question I can save because it's such a crazy question. But going back to this being an open event for the public, there's parking. They may have to park out, but I remember, are there still buses basically picking people up?
Yeah, good question. Thanks for bringing it up. There is free parking and free shuttle transfers. We will be posting about that actually later today and often until showtime. It's General Jim Moore Boulevard and Eucalyptus. We'll be posting maps, times. I believe the shuttles will run from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. We have several shuttles that are just looping all day long that will drop people off right at the event.
Because people are going to have those questions, and for an event that draws so many people in such a tight space, it's important to know ahead of time where you're going and where you need to be, or else you're going to be parking in no man's land.
Absolutely. You don't have to park there. We do recommend to park there because of the dedicated shuttle. It is tough to find parking in a public area, like city streets and all of that. So we do highly recommend people utilize and use that free parking and free shuttle. And then the other question that you might be bringing up is things like food. So there are so many existing food restaurants that prepare for this event already on Broadway. So we'll also be sharing a map with the locations of all the food and drink folks, so people can take advantage of that.
Yeah. So the other question I had, and that's also good. So you can, I personally would encourage making sure you don't show up hungry, because when you have that kind of concentration of people, you might be waiting for a long time. But getting a pop or something, or actually I would suggest arriving early. If you want to eat and be a part of it, get there at 11, get a great parking spot. You're probably within walking distance of the event, and go somewhere and get some food to eat, so that when it ramps up and you see just droves of people walking by the window, it's time to get up and go. But the side question that I had is, why do you think there's be such a big concentration of these cars in Columbus? Why Columbus? Any idea? Have you ever wondered that? Like, why Columbus?
I have, but it's a college town. It's a very
Those aren't college cars.
No, it's not. But college towns to me, do a good job of investing in the city. And I think that along with other major businesses and companies that have chosen Columbus as their home, it just contributes to the growth and the amount of money that is there. So, I mean, if you haven't, go and do a search or Google, companies that are headquartered in the Columbus, Ohio area, and you're going to be, it's like, wow, what? Same thing.
Blown away.
Yeah, it's like, why'd you choose this? So then you can just continue to do your digging and homework on, state incentives and blah, 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 blah. So, I'm sure you'll find your answer.
Big corp incentives. Because my memory of Columbus was, it was a little cool and it was rainy. Obviously, it was toward the end of October, if I recall correctly. We're talking 2014. And we went out there because of Honda. The Honda factories out in Mainville, and the test track and all that kind of stuff, and the NSX PMC. So, yeah, it makes a lot of sense, man.
Yeah. I mean, and it's great. It's great to see that they have these huge events out there. And the supercar community, emerges, which over time turns into a hypercar community. Yeah, so it's good to see the car community, being strong all over.
All right, so you guys have heard it here, and you're going to hear it again, but exoticsonbroadway.com, Exotics on Broadway on Instagram. We were recording this on August 7th, so by the time this comes out, all the information that Johnny was talking about will be available on all those media outlets. I strongly encourage you, if you're going to Monterey, to make sure you stop by this event. And again, it's huge. It's exciting. People are just crazy in a good way, and you're going to see the largest collection of hypercars and even supercars that you're probably ever going to see in your entire life. So check it out.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate it. And, I'd never want to forget to leave out the great city of Seaside, their support and partnering with us to continue to bring this event to Car Week in a very fun, cool location. They support us tremendously through city works, fire, police, everything. We have full support of the great city, and working with them has been nothing but a pleasure.
Can I ask you about this? Are you concerned at all? Because it seems like every year that area seems to get upset about Monterey Car Week when it brings it brings a crap ton of traffic to the area, but I would imagine it brings a lot of income and a lot of cool stuff to the area too. But do you think it's ever in danger of just not existing? Because I remember Exotics on Broadway wasn't always on Broadway.
Yeah, and the politics of Car Week is always fun to explore. The event originated in Cannery Row area of Monterey, and it was Exotics on Cannery Row. And what ended up happening there is, the event just got too big, along with the city expanding Cannery Row. Like open parking lots that we used to activate turned into multi-level parking garages, which doesn't really benefit us. So we were losing real estate, and we actively chose to start exploring new locations. And we were looking all over the peninsula for something, and Seaside actually approached us
That's awesome.
As an opportunity. They were going through a growth and revitalizing their downtown, so it worked out really well. And if you go down Broadway in Seaside, it's beautiful. You got great businesses, small business. It's been fun for us to grow and watch them grow with us with the revitalization of the Broadway Avenue area. But I get it. Monterey Car Week's basically in the past, the history was more classic, your Concours, button up shirt and bow tie type of thing. And then here come exotic car owners and younger demographic that enjoy to drive their cars, which is one, they love to drive them. Number two, they love to be together. And then number three, it does bring on a new generation of the automobile enthusiasts, starting from kids to those that want to aspire to, maybe see, drive, own a Ferrari or a McLaren or a Lamborghini. So that is what we enjoy seeing. And, we do, I feel, a great job of managing and controlling this event so that we can continue doing it. Again, it's not normal, which is why maybe people don't like it, right? Classical music at a Concours versus a revving Lamborghini with a Bowden Auto House exhaust, right?
Sure, yeah.
So, and again, there's riffraff stuff that goes on during Car Week around that might involve an exotic car, but I mean that's not our event.
Like a Bitcoin millionaire with a hypercar or something.
Yeah,
I'm not naming anyone specific because I don't know who has the money and who doesn't. But but you can't really control that, and that doesn't happen at your event. So
yeah, I mean, if something happens in Carmel and it happens to be in a hypercar, like all of a sudden our event is tied to it. I don't know why.
Yeah,
same thing. Hey, if someone rolls a Lambo into a sand pit at a Concours, we don't automatically say, "Hey, Pebble Beach Concours, you're done."
Right.
So, it's tough, and we do get honestly, it's been less and less, and we got a great management team, we got a great logistics team. It takes about 75 people to put this event on every year.
That's wild. But when you see it, you understand. There's just too many things that could not necessarily go wrong, but too many things that need to be prepared for, because again, we're dealing with 50, 60,000 people in the concentration of, a handful of hours, and, a lot of cars, a lot of people, a lot of things to worry about, a lot of safety and stuff like that. So, I wish go ahead.
I was just going to, I'll tell you one thing that is, I guess, underappreciated or even unknown is the event's on Saturday. It's basically almost the end of Car Week outside of Pebble. And a lot of these owners, a lot of these companies, a lot of these brands, you typically don't come to Car Week as a brand and do one thing. You take advantage of being out there and investing in your employees and whatnot. So a lot of these folks are at the other events early in the week. And, by the time you get to Saturday in our event, it's kind of their time to let loose, unbutton a couple buttons, maybe wear a t-shirt and jeans or shorts instead of, dressing up.
Right.
There's not a lot of handshaking and business selling. This is their time to have fun. And it's almost like, these guys are like rock stars. All right. I'm not
you're
saying
right. Yeah.
Like Christian Koenigsegg. I'm saying the guy who registered, the person that registered, their Gallardo to be in our show, they get to roll through and 40 and 50,000 people have their phones out and they just, it's a show. It's like they're rock stars. Right. So, that's one of the things that people tell us. So that's why you see Horatio and Christian and, Ford Performance is going to be in our event. Again, they're a repeat customer. They love rolling through that and, being the rock star and getting able to let loose for one day.
Well, I wish I could be there. I'm not going to be able to, but thanks again for joining the show as we do every year. And we're going to let everybody else go and we're going to catch up a little bit.
Yeah, sounds good. Appreciate it. Come on out to Exotics on Broadway next Saturday, the 17th here in Car Week. You're going to see a lot of really awesome things. And thanks again for the time, man.
Of course. All right, we want to thank Jhae Valencia for joining the show as always, but we're going to switch from multi-million-dollar hypercars to some very inexpensive cars. I just pulled up this list according to cars.com. These are the top 10 vehicles you can buy for under $15,000 in no particular order. We have the Toyota Prius, 2012 Toyota Prius, the 2015 Buick Verano. I don't even know what that is. I'm going to have to look it up really quick. A 2018 Chevrolet Cruze. I've driven one of those. They're not bad. A 2018 Kia Forte. I'm literally surrounded by Kia Fortes and Teslas everywhere I go here in Phoenix. We have the 2018 Hyundai Ioniq. That's a cool car. 2016 Toyota Camry. 2017 Mazda 3. It says the Mazda 3. So that's kind of funny. It's just the Mazda 3. 2017 Ford Fusion. 2016 Subaru Forester. And an Acura is on this list, a 2016 Acura ILX. Which one of these vehicles would you buy for under $15,000 if you needed another car? I would take a look at, I don't know if that 2018 Hyundai is an Ioniq 5 or just an Ioniq. It would say Ioniq 5 though, wouldn't it? If it's an Ioniq 5, I might take a look at it. Otherwise, probably going with the ILX or the Camry. What would you get? That conversation with Jhae is brought to you by The Cell Shop, an Arizona-based retailer that strives to be your destination of choice for wireless services, whether Arizona, Washington State, California, Texas, and Florida. They're an authorized AT&T dealer, so visit them at cellshop.us and get connected today. Want to thank Right Honda, Right Toyota, Toyota of Huntington Beach, Claremont Toyota, and Gardenia Honda, ForOnline.com, Cell Shop Wireless Services, AutoCannon, officially licensed Honda and Acura gear. Can't forget the Patreon business supporters. If you want to be a Patreon business supporter, go to my Patreon, Hard Parking Pod, sign up, and you will get that shout out and a write-off at the end of your year. Starting with Automotive Specialty Tool out of Owings Mills, Maryland, Kuya Automotive out of Winter Garden, Florida, Pell Construction out of Connery, Michigan, Beak House Small Home Design out of Ashburn, Virginia, and Traverse City, Michigan. Shaving Success with West Tankersley out of Boise, Idaho. Also can't forget Mark Stoneman, Catherine Cox, Eddie Ramos, Richard Gaze, Byron Jones, Bo Jung, Alice Camina, Drew Bunkley, and Yasu Chiba. Questions, comments, or concerns, hardparkingpodcast@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram at Pfenning. Follow me on the TikTok machine at hardparkingj. Join the Hard Parking Violations Facebook group. I can't grow like telling the world how great this show is. Let's do this. Let's grow this thing together, and I'll talk to you all next week.
Shut up!